Hey, Thrive Tribe, welcome back to another Saturday shout out. We're actually filming this one in the evening, so we kind of look dark and mysterious and very exciting. I don't think I've ever done one in the evening before. So I'm very excited about this guest because whenever I'm with her, we nerd out on all things SEL and we giggle and we laugh and we talk about like where we can dance or something. I don't know. So I'd like to welcome to the show Liz Gonzalez. Liz.
Hi.
So, Liz, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so born and raised in East Los Angeles. I moved to Bakersfield probably in the late 90s. I've been here ever since. LA is just too congested and too expensive for me to go back. So I've been in Bakersfield City. I started my career as a teacher back when, I want to say maybe about 2005. I was teaching special education, and I was working with students who had an emotional disturbance. And I realized that I just loved teaching. I loved behavior. I loved connecting with kids, and it was just really my passion. I absolutely loved it. I adored my job. I never wanted to leave teaching. It was the only job that I could say I was meant for this. This is my purpose, to just work with kids. I absolutely loved it. From there, I became a behavior specialist because I wanted to support other teachers that were struggling, and I wanted to give teachers what I wish somebody would have given me, because I felt like I was kind of just given a classroom, a bunch of kids, they close the door, good luck. So as I learned in my career through experiences and just trainings, I wanted to give teachers the ability to work with challenging kids, to change behavior and do things like that. So that somehow went into the PBIS world, and then the district office said, hey, we're opening this PBIS job. So I applied for it, and I became the PBIS coordinator for Bakersfield City School District, which is the largest non-unified district in the state of California. We have about 43 sites, 30,000 kids, 1,600 teachers, 4,000 employees. I mean, it's huge.
And so,
And I've been there.
For the non-educators, non-unified means K-8, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And I've been there ever since. I've been there since 2005, and I have not left. And I just absolutely love it. And in my role, I've been able to embrace social emotional learning. So it wasn't just PBIS. PBIS, those of you who are very familiar with that, it's not just PBIS that changes the world and is the state of the nation. It comes with the school climate and culture, with social emotional learning. So as we dove deeper into PBIS, we realized we need to talk about restorative practices. We need to talk about social emotional learning, relationships. So it just got a little bit deeper and deeper. So I'm just super excited that I feel like I'm the SEL coordinator now, and not even just PBIS, because PBIS is just part of that umbrella with MTSS and everything else. But I just absolutely love training and impacting others, and just being supportive and coaching. I just love it.
And you have done some amazing things. You know what? I just thought of, I'm going to post in the comments some of the amazing videos from Bakersfield City Schools, because I can think of a couple just with circles that you've done and, taught your teachers how to do that. They're doing those in their classroom, and just some amazing clips. So I'll be sure and put those in the comment section. I love that. What is the difference, do you think, because people ask me this sometimes. So now you teach a lot of adults. What's the difference in teaching adults and teaching kids?
Ooh, that is a good question. I have a lot of patience for children, probably more than I do for adults sometimes. And I think sometimes as adults, we just get carried on with things that are going on in life that we really forget our why we even went into teaching, why we wanted to work with kids. So teaching adults, they're more reluctant, and there's these belief systems that they have sometimes. And trying to shift those beliefs can be somewhat of a struggle. With kids, they just embrace it more, because if they like you, they'll do anything that you want for them. They'll do math, they'll put their cell phone away. It's all about those relationships. So with adults, I believe probably the biggest struggle is probably that belief shift. And I think the connection that we can give them, which is something that I've always learned from you is the connection that you give during those trainings and those, whether it's a simple conversation, when we can connect with them and have those beliefs shift with the conversations that we have with them, getting them to think about something else. So I would say that's probably the biggest struggle, that they're just, kind of reluctant to start new things when kids are like, yeah, let's do it. Mindfulness sounds cool. Let's do it. And, adults are a little bit more reluctant.
Okay. What is your favorite training to do with adults?
My favorite training, gosh, that is a good question. I did a resiliency training recently out in Ukiah, and it was probably one of my favorites. And I don't believe it was just the training itself, it was the way I was able to connect with the audience. And there was a lot of educators there who had been evacuated from the fires or lost their homes in the fire. So it was, the emotions were, just very raw, but giving them the tools to be able to increase the resiliency in their students without any curriculum, and seeing that light bulb go off on, oh wait, I've had this all along. I've been teaching resiliency and I can do this. And that to me is probably one of the most rewarding things when it comes to training. So I wouldn't say necessarily there's a specific training. I do love training on behavior because it's my thing. Mindfulness is one of my favorites. We also blended something called student-centered classrooms. We did it this summer in our summer institute, and it was really combining our 4 core priorities as a district with social emotional learning, which is one of our goals for our district. We have 4 goals, 3 of them being academic, and 1, finally, we're talking about social emotional learning. So it is one of the core priorities, and we were able to dive into social emotional learning and just really discussing what is a student-centered classroom, not an adult-centered classroom where it's my class, my kids, my rules. It's our classroom, it's our rules. We are a family. So I believe that's probably one of my favorites right now, is student-centered mindfulness, resiliency. I can pick something from all of them. So I think those are my top. Right?
I just want to throw out there, for those of you who are in education and are fascinated by this, her district, Bakersfield City School District, people come from all over and do tours to see all the amazing things that they've done there and the hard work that Liz puts in. So you can comment in the box, in the comments, if you want to connect with her, and she'll hook you up with the tour, right?
Yes, absolutely. We film a couple times a year, so we're more than happy to host anything that they'd want to see. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because when we do have those tours from different cities. So I had, I believe it was Corona Norco that came, and they brought maybe 4 sets of schools during different times. And what was very interesting about that was that every time they came, I took them to a different school. It was never the same school. And they were able to see mindfulness circles, STL at, in pre-K and kinder and middle school, but it wasn't always the same school where it was kind of like scripted, like, oh, of course it works here. It was always in a different school, and it wasn't until the administrators pointed that out. They said, what we love when we come down is that you always take us to a different site. So, it doesn't matter where you take us, it's happening. And I never really thought about that. So I think that's what we're most proud of and most excited, that the work is not just in one school or one side of town. It's pretty much embraced throughout the whole city.
Yeah, and that a lot of that has to do with districts supporting the whole district, the whole child, the whole district.
Yes, absolutely.
Where do you see yourself? Here's a whole question. You may not have thought of this, but here it comes. Where do you see yourself in 10 years? Where would you like to be?
In 10 years. I probably won't be in public education in 10 years. I want to do a lot. I definitely want to write a book. I want to write a book, probably in the next couple of years. I want to finish my doctorate finally, that I keep like pushing off, and I start and then I don't complete. And you motivated me every time I saw your pictures when you finished, and I was thinking, that needs to be me. So I was super excited about that. But I really would love to do I've been doing some consulting for quite some years now, and I absolutely love it. I love traveling and learning from other districts. It's not just that they learn from me, but I learn from them as well. And I really would love to do that more, but I'm waiting for my kids to get older because they're still in school, and I kind of love being a mommy right now.
Mhm.
So once they are fully, out of high school, I can just kick them out and not worry about them anymore. And maybe I can do my own thing. But I would love to just live on a beach, live by the beach, and just have my computer and work off of my computer, whether it's just doing consulting or teaching an online class about something that I'm passionate about. I would love to just be by the beach and just work off of my computer with some margaritas and tacos on my hand.
Yeah, I was gonna say, well, the great thing is when you're doing, things on a camera, you can be in your bathing suit. They really, you can just make sure it's just, head up.
Exactly. There you go. We got this. We got this.
Speaking of tacos, so I know that you are obsessed with tacos. So if you ever see her on Facebook, she's always posting about tacos, and she loves tacos. And so whenever I see tacos, I think of Liz. And I want to know why the obsession with tacos, and then where's the best tacos in LA? Because I know you go there a lot. And where are the best tacos in Bakersfield?
Oh, those are good questions. The reason why I actually was mentioning this story yesterday to somebody who asked me, people ask me all the time. I didn't realize I post more about tacos than I do about my own family and my husband, because I love them, and then my family, not in any particular order. But when I was young, I come from a, very strong Hispanic family, and my mom cooked every single day. We never ate out. We never went to a restaurant. So my mom always cooked rice and beans and then a different type of meat. So when I would come home, I was really tired. I was a teenager, and I was too lazy to make my plate. So what I would do is I would grab tortillas and I would just like dip them into the meat, and I would make tacos out of it because it was easier for me to eat. So also in East Los Angeles, there was tacos everywhere. I mean, you can't go to a corner and not find a taco stand that doesn't have, a health rating, but they were good and we never died. I mean, they were just absolutely wonderful. So I've always just grown up eating tacos because of that reason. My favorite taco place is probably in East Los Angeles, and it's called Guisados. It's Guisados. And they have a couple of places now. They have some in Burbank. They have one in Hollywood. They have them in East Los Angeles. And the meat is not dry. It's like juice. It has flavor, but it's not dry, which is one of my favorite tacos. And then the tacos here in Bakersfield, the best taco spot doesn't have a health rating, so I don't even know if I should mention that one. But there is, those are the best ones. And if you've been at TJ, they don't have health ratings either, and we never died. So I mean, you'll be fine. But I do like Taco Loco. I mean, if you just need to have a taco at 2 a.m, Taco Loco has either a restaurant or a taco truck, and they do have a health rating, and they're really good. So.
Gotcha. All right. And is there a particular taco that you like better than the other tacos?
I like
Carnitas, what?
asada and pastor, which is like pork, and it's kind of marinated with this just really good sauce. And those are probably my favorite. We call them chiles toreados, which is the little green chilies that come on the side, and I can just like bite on those chilies when I'm eating my tacos. I'm like, my saliva right now, it's just ridiculous thinking of tacos. Thanks, Joanna. I'm hungry.
All right. What is something, we talk a lot about growth mindset and the power of yet. So what is something that you are not really good at right now, but would like to be? So you're not good at it yet, but it's something you would like to be good at.
Probably saying no more often is probably something that I'm not there yet. I'm getting there. I think my challenge is that usually it's professional. It's not personally. I say no all the time. Right? Easy. Professionally, I always see like a student behind that request. So if it's something where, oh, that sounds like a somebody else issue or a special ed, or why are you calling me? I always think of a child behind that. And no matter who's giving me the call, if they need help, I will literally drop what I'm doing and go to a school site and figure out what's wrong with kids. And I tend to get in trouble for that because I'm kind of like a district administrator now and I should be doing administrative stuff, not being in the classrooms, but that is just my
Riding on a
passion.
bus? Wasn't there a time when you rode on a bus?
I did. They couldn't get a particular student on the bus, and I said, I will get that kid on the bus right now. And I rode the bus, but I was also to model to them, like, he can be on task. He can, be successful and be safe and be responsible. You just have to engage him and connect with him because he was just having a really rough time on the bus. So I just kind of wanted to model that. I know what I'm talking about, and he can actually do it. So it was great. It was
I love
great.
it. All right. If you could teach the world just one thing, and the world needs to know many, many things, but what's the one thing that you would want them to know from Liz Gonzalez?
One thing that I would like everybody to know about myself
Not about
is
yourself, something that you want to teach them, teach the world a
that I
lesson,
could teach the world.
a
A
valuable
lesson.
lesson, a valuable tidbit, something that you would want to teach the world.
I would like to teach the world that we really have heroes inside of us, and sometimes we just have to bring it out. So, for example, our students, if I could teach teachers how to bring that out in their kids rather than, oh, some got it and some don't, all the kids have it. We just have to bring it out of them. And just taking that journey with your students and knowing that they can be who you want them to be, even when they're having behaviors and having challenges. There's this quote that I always say that it kind of resonates with what you're saying right now. A child will always misbehave if the environment is asking them to do something that the student, a skill that they don't possess. Because I think as educators, we always demand and expect students to behave certain ways that they've never been taught. They don't have the skill, or they're not motivated to. And when the environment is asking them to do something that they can't do, they're always going to have a behavior. And that's probably my go-to every time I do behavioral trainings, that behavior can change. Behavior serves a function, and no matter how crazy it is, behavior can always change. So that would probably be my little behavior spiel.
I love it. But now I have to ask you another question. I have to ask you, because there's obviously, we have a lot of educators in the Thrive Tribe, but we have a lot of non-educators, but a lot of parents. So for parents and educators, when a kid is misbehaving, or you want your kids to be motivated, what do you think is the best way to get kids motivated? What have you seen that if they're, whatever it is, they want their kid to do their homework, or they want their kid to like school, or to make friends, or play on a team, whatever it is, what do you think helps get kids motivated?
So as a parent, I would say something as simple, it's not really as complicated as we think it is sometimes. Something as, you want to give kids what they want, but it's the way that you're delivering that. Something as simple as using an if-then statement. So if my son says, hey, can I play Fortnite? My answer is going to be no, because he hasn't had dinner and he hasn't done his homework. So instead of saying, no, you can't, and just shutting that down and him being upset, or maybe arguing or talking back or having an attitude, I could say something like, well, if you do your homework and have dinner, then maybe you can have 10 minutes on Fortnite. So if then statements really work, because you want to give them what they want. If whatever we give them is not what they want, it doesn't give them the end result that they're looking for, then they're probably going to have some behaviors. So I would definitely say give them what they want, but in an appropriate way. So rather than saying, yes, you can play Fortnite, if you do this, then this will happen. Because then our kids have this entitlement where they feel like, well, she's going to let me do this, or she's going to give it to me because she always does. And we're kind of setting an expectation, but we're following up with something that will motivate them. And the best way to motivate them is to give them what they want. So.
Right. And even if, and the delayed gratification in that. So they're getting what they want, just not when they want it.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So we still have some control. We're giving it to them just when we want to.
All right. So now comes the scary part, where you get to ask me a question.
Ooh, I love this part. So what I would love to know from you, fabulous Joelle Hood. Well, for one, I've always wanted your last name, just so you know. I've always been jealous because I always wanted, I'm like, man, that must be cool to just be Mrs. Hood. Like, it kind of gives you street credit just by having that last name. I mean, it's instantaneous. But my question for you would be, what is your favorite activity when you're doing a PD that allows the audience to just connect? What is that one activity that you're like, okay, this one's it, like I'm gonna do it because either you're gonna make them cry, you're gonna make them connect? So I guess it's a two-part question. I'd like to know your favorite activity that connects the audience. My second question would be,
Wait.
when did you know you had the gift? It's a two-part, yes.
Just kidding. Go ahead.
When did you know you had the gift of just doing PD? Because you know you're amazing. I know you're amazing. And when did you realize, man, I'm kind of good at this stuff? So
Okay, let's see. Okay, first question. First thing that popped in my head when you said that, probably my favorite activity, and I can't do it a lot because it has to have a certain either build up or I don't know, it has to be a kind of a certain thing, but is the Just Like Me activity, where I have people that usually don't know each other very well at all. They stand facing each other. They have their eyes closed initially. I read some statements, things like, you know, this person has been lonely just like me. And in their mind, they're repeating these statements about their partner. And the idea is to build empathy and to help them see the shared humanity that, you know, it's true. We've all, you and I have both been lonely. You and I have both wanted friends. You and I have both felt discouraged. And so they kind of go like that. And then halfway through, they open their eyes and we do the remaining prompts. Same thing, silent activity. They're repeating the prompt that I say in their mind, but looking at their partner. And I've always done it in multi-day sessions. So I would never do it like on a first day session, like it's after there's been, you know, some trust built up in me, and then I've done it. Well, this last year I was doing a keynote at an AXA conference, and I thought, I really want to do this activity, but I mean, I only have like an hour with these people, 45 minutes to an hour. I don't know if I can build enough to have them in this ballroom get up and do this. And I just thought, well, I'm going to do it. Sometimes I just get a wild hair. And so I'm in this ballroom and, you know, there's hundreds of people, and I have them get up and stand with a partner from a different table because I'm pretty much insured because it's people from all over. So they're not going to know the person at the next table. And I did that activity, and I was a little nervous going, you know, it's a little bit of a crapshoot, don't know what's going to happen. And, you know, at the end, I said, you know, thank your partner in the way you feel appropriate. And it was just hugs and tears. And, you know, I had people coming up to me saying, I have a new best friend that I didn't even know 5 minutes ago. You know? And so I asked them, you know, why? You know, I'm just the facilitator. You know, why did that activity do that for you? And they said, because I really felt the shared humanity. I felt like, you know, I probably need to look into people's eyes more often and remember that. And so that's my favorite. That's my favorite. It's not a super happy one. It is a happy though. They're crying. I mean, they're, you know, it's they're hugging. When did I know I was good at this? So I fell into teaching. I didn't grow up wanting to be a teacher. Although I used to teach my stuffed animals, so I guess I did. I guess as a little kid, I would teach everybody everything, and then in every job I had, I taught people. Like I was always like the trainer at the work, or you know, I would, you know, just even if that wasn't my job, it, you know, that's the stuff I would do. And then when I became a teacher, I just loved it, and I think it's two-part. I mean, I guess when I was younger, when I was a teenager, I know I wanted to be an actress. So there's something about, I sort of look at professional learning like it has to be a little bit of a show. And I don't mean it as in like, ooh, look at me. I'm leading a show. I expect people want to leave there feeling that they got something.
Yes.
And they need to be engaged. And so, it's not just teaching, blah, 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 and people sitting listening to me. I want them to walk out the door going, wow, I had an experience. And so I tried to do that in my classroom. I have lots of former students in the Thrive Tribe. I don't know if they can say I did all this stuff as a teacher. And when I became an administrator, I was like, okay, I can't teach anymore. But then I shifted that too. And in our staff meetings, I would do PE again. And people would say they got something out of it. And I was like, oh, maybe I can really make a living at this. This is pretty good. So I did it. And I'm very, I always want feedback. So I ask my participants to fill out, and I totally read it and work. And I think, as I would read, you never give us a break. That was my problem at the beginning, because I just go, and teachers would be like, this, you never gave us a break. And I'd be like, oh yeah, okay. So now I'm pretty good about giving breaks. But I just tried to keep refining with every feedback form I read. And I think bottom line, it's just I'm just passionate about. Like, if I was talking about something I wasn't passionate about, maybe that would come across, but I'm really lucky to be able to talk about the things I totally believe in. And it's, like I'm preaching. I feel like sometimes I'm a preacher, an SEL preacher.
Preach on.
And I don't know. It's I say a little prayer kind of before I ever go out. I don't really get nervous, but I have a little excitement. And I just say, I'm a vessel. So, help me to know the right things to say, know how long to stay on one slide, know to skip another one. Just help me to feel where the room is, and be the vessel of what's supposed to be said here today. So,
yes.
But I kind of let go, but I don't know.
I love it.
It's fun.
Great answer.
Well, thank you so much for being here, Liz. I really appreciate it. I know that people are going to get a lot out of hearing your story, and that you'll put some taco things in there, and I'll put some Bakersfield City things in there.
Yes.
All right. For the rest of you, and Liz, you can encourage them too. You need to know their story, right? So message me, email me, say, okay, I'm willing to be interviewed. Let's get to know everybody. I think there's like almost 2,300 people in here. So let's get this party started.
Wow.
So
yes.
have a great rest of the day. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.